Orange Country.
Y'all, welcome back to Orange Country
Welcome, yeehaw.
with Gina and Shane. And we have an amazing guest today. I mean, the list of accomplishments and list of talents is multiple pages long.
It really is.
It is.
Yes.
And we'll get into as many as we can.
She's only 20 years old,
Yeah.
so that's a lot for somebody so young. Yes.
So this is Jenna Davis.
Hi guys,
Hi,
you guys are
Jenna.
making me blush behind here, hyping me up too much.
Yeah.
Thank
no,
you.
you deserve the hype.
She's
I
busy.
mean, your YouTube channel alone is 2.7 million subscribers, and you have over 5 million followers on TikTok. I mean, that's incredible.
Thank you.
And how did that was so let's quickly tell everyone who she is. By most accounts, people would recognize her as the voice of, and also I'm assuming the inspiration for Megan, the robot murdering doll.
Yeah.
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 That was kind of insane. A lot of people think I resemble her
You
in
do.
many ways, but
But
that
it
was
wasn't off of you?
no, it was coincidental.
So she was
That's
already designed when you
that's
went in and auditioned.
crazy.
Yes.
That's probably didn't hurt though.
I don't think so, but they also didn't know what I looked like.
Really?
Because I auditioned for the role in my closet. So they just heard my voice. They don't know what I look like.
God.
That is even creepier, I have to say, Jenna.
Yeah.
I'm even more scared than
I mean,
watching the movie.
I love the fact that people think it's based off of me. People can think that all they want.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, go ahead.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
no. So
That's
when we
actually
saw
so
it,
fascinating.
it was so freaky because my mom was like, oh my goodness, this looks like you.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has some. I mean, you think about a lot of times cartoons
Mm-hmm.
and the voices,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see the people, and sometimes they do look like them, and sometimes they may actually design it to look like them. But I
Yeah.
wonder if the sound of your voice, if just the inflection of somehow that also has something to do with the way you look. I mean, if the fact that had you seen what Megan looked like?
No. So I was just given that it was like an AI robot. I didn't know it was going to be a movie. I didn't know what it was for.
Mm.
So I was just,
What did you do? What was the line?
well, I read it and it was basically looking for a robot. So I was thinking, okay, there's two ways I could go about this. I could read this like Siri or Amazon Alexa,
Mhm.
or I could put a spin on it. And I was thinking, well, every other actor is probably going to go in here thinking robot, beep, 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 like let's talk like very monotone and
Yeah.
be very boring. But when I was reading the lines that I received in the film, nothing really resembled a robot to me. Like
Okay.
it was very human-like.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, okay, this doesn't seem like somebody that's in a really short scene. This seems like something that has a lot of depth to it. And I was like, I think I'm going to add a little bit of character and sass and flair. Because my mentality when I audition is, how can I separate myself from everybody else? One, but how can I make a choice that casting hears that they're going to be like, this is it? Because it's either going to be, this is it, or actually, you know what? This is different than we interpreted, but give this a shot. I always want to separate
So
myself.
Just
Smart.
something different, something original.
Yeah, because if I'm doing everything else that everybody else is doing, then
You're
that's not
one
gonna
of
separate
all.
me.
Yeah.
That's it. And you have a 1 in
Right.
100 shot then, but setting yourself apart
Yeah.
and doing something nobody else can do. Yeah, it's a big swing because, it can be a big payoff. But it also could have gone the other way. But that's what you
1000%.
got to do.
Yeah, even if it's just some roles I get and I notice there's like little Southern flares, so I'll throw in a Southern accent.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the roles that I've gotten the farthest in is because I've done those drastic choices like that.
Yeah.
And casting is like, oh, that's not what we thought, but we actually really like this. So
It's like no
just-
risk, no reward. If you just stay in the
Exactly.
middle and you stay comfortable, there's no movement there. If you set yourself apart,
1000%.
you might not get it, but then you just weren't meant for it. But at least you're standing out, putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and at least I made a choice that they're going to remember.
Where did that come from? Because if we're talking about Megan, you had to have been, I would say, 15 or 16 when you're auditioning, right?
No, I was older. I was.
No, because Megan's pretty new.
Yeah.
I know, but I
think
still
was watching it
I always
last year.
think movies take forever.
Movies do take forever, but I came post-production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were probably 18.
Yeah,
17.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
so
was-
that movie was already completely made, and then you
I
came in to
post.
do the voice of. Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
That is
to
so
me.
interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have to
Huh.
line up, or did they do like mouth wise?
I had to line up some
What?
times, which was
So
Well,
would
that's
you
why you're
watch
so
it?
good at TikTok. My God, because that's
Oh,
what
you're
makes or
right.
breaks you on the TikTok. I see them out there, these other housewives trying to do the TikToks, and then they're off, and I'm
the
like,
TikToks.
wah, wah.
Okay, Nana.
And they won't. You know, I am
Yeah.
Nana Gina.
You
a
doing
lot,
the
you know.
TikTok? Are
But,
you on the
yes.
TikTok?
Is that what you do then with your, would you say like your social content? Like what is so to you, like what would you say is like very original about your social content? Why it's so engaging and why so many people follow you?
Sure. I think I like to give my audience a variety.
Mhm.
I started off making singing covers in my parking garage with my mom. We would do, when I was 11 years old, my mom said, I think Instagram's going to be important. Let's hop on this.
Wow.
You have a brilliant mother.
I
And
Wow.
she's here actually.
Yes,
I
she
do.
is. Yes,
I
she
do.
is.
She's
Yeah.
So
like-
she said,
She said, I think this is something's going to happen here and we need to hop on it.
Wow.
So every week when I was 11 years old, we would do
Wow.
4 covers a week.
because this is a dream. This is what you, I know you're originally born in Texas, moved to Minnesota. Is that
Yep.
correct? Okay. And then you, from Minnesota, you were just like, I'm going to make it big in LA. Like, how can you connect the
Sure.
dots there
Yeah.
and then get to that? Like, was this parking garage in Minnesota?
No, so
Okay.
my-
it's a big
where
jump.
was this
Yeah.
parking garage? Because
Yes,
we got to go there.
I gotta
We need
go there.
followers.
I'm gonna start doing my covers. Now I know the way.
Yeah.
Yes. No. but I'm
Yes,
just
so
curious.
my mom was a piano and voice teacher growing up. So I was always surrounded by
okay.
music my whole life.
Amazing.
So my mom, whenever she would teach her students, we had a little glass door in our house, and I would stand at the end of the glass door and wait for her last piano student or voice student to exit so I could go in and sing with her.
Okay.
And I started doing like musical theater camps when I was around I think 7, but I would be like a cub in Lions King.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then we started seeing like a community theater pop up. Like theater was pretty big in Minnesota. Like there's Ordway, which is a big one, Guthrie, like big theater companies out there
Okay.
that do professional theater. And so there's a community theater called Chaska Family Theater that was like our small town family theater. And they were doing Annie, which was one of my like most favorite musicals ever.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
And
It's amazing.
Such a
Yeah.
classic. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to be Molly. And my mom is my biggest supporter, but also like the biggest realist ever. Like she's not going to tell me I'm not good at something if I'm not. And she was like, Jenna, this is your first like audition for a lead role. I just don't want you to go in there with high expectations. And I was like, okay. So I went in.
Do you think that fired you up?
Yes.
Or do you, okay.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
do
it
too.
did. And so I went in there and I got a call back for it. And I was like, ha! I told you, Mom, I'm going to book this. You know, I was 9 years old. And my mom's like, you know.
Sounds like my kids.
My mom's like, okay, you got to call back, but like, just expect you're going to get like a side orphan. She's like, that's the
Well,
expectation.
her job is to brace.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to have to deal with your heartbreak if you didn't get
If
it.
I didn't
she's
get it.
preparing you for that in advance. So yeah, I
Yes.
can understand that.
She's also
yeah.
lighting a
But it
fire.
was good because it lit
Yeah.
a fire. Yeah, and you know your kids, so she knew you. That maybe it was motivational too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. I think that made me even more like, okay, Mom, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So I went in there. Then we got the call like, oh, yeah, we want Jenna to be our little Molly in the community theater. And I was like, so ecstatic.
Wow.
But I remember I had 76 lines total.
Oh my god.
And I never practiced. And my mom was freaking out because she was like, Jenna, like, you need to practice. And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm fine. I got it. No, Mom, I'm fine. Jenna, you need to practice. No, I'm fine. Never messed up once, but I never practiced. And my mom was like shocked. And at the end of the show, the director came up to my mom and was like, your daughter's going to be a star. And you need to go put her in acting. You need to do something because there's big potential here. And my mom's like, she's a good actor. Like, I was like, I don't really know. She's like, I think she's a fine singer, but like, she's an actor. And he's like, yeah, you need to do something with this. And so after that, I think doing the whole production of everything, like musical theater was my first love. I love being able to act, sing, and dance all at once. I think that's one of the most, I don't know, I just think musical theater shows are some of the most beautiful
and
productions.
live.
And
It's gotta
it's live.
be exciting.
It's such an essence. It's magic when you're sitting in a theater and watching something like that. But I did competitive dance meanwhile. So I did I wasn't the best dancer, but my mom always put me in dance knowing that, hey, one day when you're up on stage, you can move and it's not going to look awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I kind of started figuring out, okay, I did this theater thing. Then I started doing professional theater. So there was a place called Chanhassen Dinner Theater, and I would do like dinner theater shows. So I thought it was so cool because on Wednesdays I got to leave school early and I got to go do a show. I thought it was just the coolest person ever. And then I told my mom I want to do TV and film. And in Minnesota, there wasn't too much. I mean, there was short films, a few feature films, Target commercials, like nothing crazy. And so my mom found a manager on Facebook at the time, which is kind of sketchy thinking about it now. But she was legit, and she was telling our family, like, hey, I think you guys should come out to LA for pilot season just to see how Jenna does, just to like get her in the room.
And how old are you at this point?
I was 11,
Wow.
or I guess 10 turning 11.
Okay.
And so my dad was very against it. He wanted to support me, but he didn't like the idea of us like going away from him, obviously, because it's just me, my mom, and my dad, because I'm an only baby. And so my dad's like, okay, we're going to give you 6 weeks out in LA. If you have success, we'll extend your stay. But he's like, you need to prove to me that you really want this and that you're going to go do it. And I was like, okay. So I started going out there, and within, I think, the first 2 weeks, I booked a Disney commercial. And I was like, first booking. Here you go, Dad. You can extend the stay. And then as I continued on, there was a show called Andy Mac on Disney Channel, and I made top 8 for the role. So I was 21st floor at Disney, freaking out. I was obsessed with Disney. It was like my biggest dream to be on Disney. Like I told my mom the reason I wanted to move to California was to be on Disney. I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
My mom's like, let's make it happen. Like my mom's the dreamer, my dad's the realist. So we all balance each other out. And then I'm kind of a mix in between. But I think our whole family thinks we're a little crazy for doing what we did. But I mean, being in this industry is crazy.
It takes that.
It's not crazy now, though.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
I
it's
mean,
not.
Yeah, you can't get anywhere. You can't if you don't take swings. So I mean, you certainly, it was a swing, it was a risk, but it was obviously a risk worth taking because you're here
absolutely.
now.
So how long did that trip get extended for?
I mean, we went back.
She's still
I was
on
about
it.
to say she's still here.
Yeah, we went back for a little bit, and then I think this was I was finishing up, I believe, was it fourth grade? Or 5th grade?
Maybe 5th.
5th grade. Okay, yeah, I was
Which my
finishing up.
son just finished up. So to think that he would be doing any of this blows my mind.
My kids are finishing 5th right now, and I feel the same.
And I'm like, can you just finish breakfast and put your bowl in the sink? Thank you.
If my kids could just throw away a Capri Sun wrapper.
Yeah, I went back to finish up 5th grade, and then middle school we moved out there.
Oh, wow.
And just started kind of continuing to extend our stay, and then it never really
And you went to school?
stopped. I did homeschool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did homeschool 6th through 9th grade. And then there was a very small school that had like no absences that were for kids in the industry.
Right.
And I went there for 9th and 10th, but I was working all the time.
And so you were working all the time.
I mean, not but
enough to keep you
enough to keep me
in it.
Yeah, enough to keep me in it. But I think I see myself as like a little stool. I have my acting leg, my music leg, and my social media leg. Whatever I'm not working on, I'm working on the other. So I'm constantly working.
But you enjoy this. So
yeah.
it's not
I'm a
like,
workaholic.
yeah, but you like it. You thrive off of it.
Oh, I
it's
love
not
it.
like anything. It's like, it seems like it did come from you. Which
It did.
Is, yeah.
It did. I mean, my mom and my dad offered to have me go. They tried to have me go to a high school out here. They tried to make me go to college. They tried to make me do all these things. And so when everyone's like, well, was it your parents? I said, no, it's never been.
Right.
Yeah.
It's driven
my
by
parents
you.
pushed so hard. Like my mom, I was enrolled into school, and 2 weeks before the school popped up, I was like, no, Mom, I don't want to do it. Like there's something in me that telling me I don't want to do it. So whenever people are like, oh, was it your parents? I'm like, no, it's always been me because I love what I do. I mean, people ask me what I do for fun, and I'm like, I do what I love for fun.
That's why it probably comes out, though, because
I think
it is
so.
coming from you and it is something you love. And I feel like when it comes from you genuinely, that's when you usually find the biggest level of success because it just exudes from you. And your parents were there to just support that, right? It's what we're supposed to do as parents is just kind of support them realistically through their dreams. Like it sounds like because you had good parents, that's part of this success because they're protecting you from the bad and supporting you and
very much
through
so.
the good. So like that's a good.
Well, also I think what happens is parents hear, all kids, I want to be famous. I want to be a singer. I want to be.
Yeah.
But what comes with that, and unless you've been in the business. It's so hard. And it's not just
It
hard
is.
because you get rejection. It's not just hard because you have to audition all the time. It's hard because everyone is so good.
Yeah.
And you don't realize. So your
Yeah.
parents are probably like more thinking, I want her to be ready for the world and
Yeah.
not be spit out on the other side
Yeah.
at 18 or 19 and go, I didn't go to school, in a traditional way.
Mhm.
And what's my social situation? And
my dreams are crushed now.
but you had,
know?
Yeah.
but you had it in you. I mean, it's a rare quality, I think, that and that you could actually do all these things. I mean, let's talk
I know,
about
you're
the
very
level
talented.
of talent.
So
It's-
then, and that brings us, I'm assuming that through that time, once you got out to LA, that's when you started to do the covers and singing and putting the
That's
content
exactly when.
out.
Yes, when we started
Okay.
moving out, because my mom was like, I think there's something here.
to know
So-
that.
Yeah, I mean, my mom has those gut instincts. I mean, so many times, even when it comes down to boyfriends, she's like, I knew. And I was like, I should have listened. I should have known. But I don't know. I think they always say, like, your mama knows best, and she really does.
So I want to talk about the music thing.
Yeah.
And beyond just doing the covers, because it's not everyone that can sing, but then also turn that into, I mean, you have to have a natural instinct or gift to write songs.
Mm.
When did that start?
After my first heartbreak.
Okay.
I feel like that's the typical answer.
It is.
But
How old were you?
I was, I think, 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it,
15.
how did you meet a boy?
How,
At that
how she
point.
found time to fit into boyfriend
Well,
too is
it
very
wasn't-
impressive.
Well,
but
it wasn't technically a boyfriend. So I was going on a cruise with my family in the summer of 2019, and it was my grandparents' 50th anniversary.
okay.
And my mom told me, she goes, Jenna, you're 15. You need to find yourself a summer love. And I was
Your mom is smart.
She's,
Yeah.
she's very
I mean-
multi-level.
She's like,
Yes.
you're in this isolating industry. You don't go to school. I mean, like, this industry is very isolating. Like, if you
Yeah.
don't- I talk
Yeah.
about this all the time with my friends is I'm like, I'm 20 years old. I'm not going to go show up at UCLA or Belmont and be like, hey, be my friend. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's very tricky. Because
Yeah, you're past that stage of making like natural friendships at
Yeah.
school and all that. Yeah.
It's very different. And so, you're surrounded by so many creatives and artists, but those are typically older than you. So you're trying to navigate, okay. But also other artists in the industry, they're also touring. And, sometimes they don't always want to be friends. So it's just like this weird dynamic of like, okay, having friends in the industry, outside of the industry. It's difficult.
tricky. Yeah.
And so at that time, my mom was like, okay, you're 15. We're going to find you a summer love. It's going to happen. My mom is boy crazy. I'm not.
Oh my God.
right
That's
under the bus.
amazing.
Yes.
I'm looking over my shoulder because she's sitting over here. That is amazing. Your mom and I have that in common.
Yeah.
But she told me, she's like, it's going to happen. And so we're on this boat. And my mom knows my type. And she sees this boy, like she's out like having a margarita with my aunt, like on the top of the boat.
I love this.
And I'm on the water slides, and I'm 15 looking 12 at this point. Like,
yeah, you look very young.
I call
yes.
myself like an undeveloped shrimp. Like, I was literally tiny.
You
Because
are tiny.
I've always been, I've just always been, people think I'm 20, people still think I'm 15, which is great. I'm like, great.
yeah.
When I'm
No,
40,
that's
I think
great
I'm
for
30.
you. Yeah.
Fantastic. But at this time, I looked like I was literally 12.
Yeah.
And so I had my other cousin with me who is my same age but 6 months older than me, and she's all like
Fully developed. She's
like all the
smoking.
boys are like. And so my mom's like, she sees this boy and she's like, "This is Jenna's summer love. It's this boy." Like, she just sees him walking past, shirt off and all, little like tan lifeguard Southern boy. My mom's like, "This is it." I come back from the water slide and my mom's like, "I found you your summer love." I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "I found him. Go find him. He's an orange shirt or an orange shorts." And I'm like, "Mom, I've never done this before." Like, I was a shy little thing. And also, but was kind of getting a platform at this point, like not crazy, but to the point where it was like people on the boat would come up to me and be like, "Hey, you Jenna," you know.
I mean, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, and so I was a little like fearful. I wasn't daring, but my cousins were daring. And so my cousin was like, "Yeah, let's go find him." So it's nighttime. We're like on the boat looking around. my cousin's also trying to find this other dude in green shorts who we actually found out took a picture with me later on, and we never realized it was him.
Oh, wow.
So it's just
So we have
funny.
green shorts, we have orange
Green
shorts.
shorts and orange shorts. And so we're just walking around, and my little cousin's on crutches. I have an older cousin and a little cousin. I'm with my older cousin, both of them, and they see him like walking down like the main like
The
main
cousin's on
street.
crutches.
He's been
Yeah,
going as
literally.
fast.
Yeah, we're gonna-
Cousin's on crutches. She's like, Jenna, that's him. I'm gonna go get his Snapchat. And I'm like, what? No. And so she's going up, crutches and all, like goes up to him. She's like, my cousin wants your Snapchat. And I'm just back there like red face. Like
Oh
I've
my
never asked a boy
God.
for
Yeah.
anything. I mean, I was like an isolated singing girl in
Yeah.
my garage doing covers. Like that's what I did. I didn't go out and see. I was like scared as all get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was like, okay, yeah, sure. Turns out he thought I was like 13 at the time. I'm 15 because my other cousin looked so much older. So he gave my other cousin his Snapchat, then gave it to me. And then he met up with me on the boat. And then it was like my first like summer love,
yeah.
whatever. It was so innocent. It was
Yeah,
so silly.
yeah, yeah.
Looking back now. But that lasted on and off for like 3 years.
Okay.
Okay.
But it was not like a
Did
relationship.
he live somewhere
He
else?
lives in Texas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like my first ever like,
That's how you write music, though. That's
yeah,
what
it is very true.
that was a smart move on your mom's part because there
Yeah.
is an artistry that comes with a broken heart or with a heart on fire. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is,
She's like, this will be good for the career.
honestly, I mean, you need some life experience and it's
yeah.
No, you do.
That's
though,
literally
just
what
in
she said,
general.
though.
You
She's
need
like,
life
you're not going to
experience.
do
Yes.
anything
But
sitting
she
in
wants
this
you to
house.
be social too.
Yeah.
You know, she's looking out on all fronts. It's like, okay, now you got your career going, and that's great. But like, there's a side of you. You need to the mature factor, and you should have a little crush and a little love and all of that. And yeah, it's important.
Yeah. So that's how I got into it. And I wrote my first ever song, Summer of 19,
Summer
which was
of
my first
19.
ever.
Can we talk about that summer of 19 was 5 years ago?
Oh, I know.
When she said she was 15
I know.
and I was going, that couldn't have been 19.
No.
That was 5 years ago right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you wrote your first song. Was it a love song at that point because maybe you hadn't had your heart
and
broken?
No. Yes and no. Because I kind of explained our story, but then in the bridge, I kind of explained like what happened in the end.
Did you write it by yourself?
I did. I had a little I didn't have a piano at the time. So I on my iPad, I got this little app, this piano app.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just started playing.
You are just resourceful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it takes. That really blows my
Well, I
mind.
mean, you can
Yeah.
tell that's passion. That's
is.
true passion because when somebody doesn't have it, then the fact that they don't have the piano,
Would have
that's the
stopped them.
roadblock,
You're
right?
exactly right.
Yes,
It's
but
like-
nothing's going to stop her because she wants it. And I think that that's the
Yeah.
difference between girls and boys and just kids in general who are truly passionate and make it and don't. And then there's some that are passionate, but they just don't have that thing or, you know,
when
the stars
people
don't
ask
align.
me about
but
being a songwriter, they're like, how do you know if you're a songwriter? I'm like, you wouldn't be able to keep it in.
yeah.
And that's what you did. I mean, you're all these other things too, but
Thank
clearly that's part of it. And so
Yeah.
you wrote the song. Did you post that song?
I released it. I did.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I first
Sort of self-release?
yeah,
Okay.
independently. And so yeah, I wrote it. We did a little music video for it and yeah.
What is your biggest passion? Is it music or is it acting or is it just really do you love the
think-
limelight or you just love
No.
performing?
No, I always told my mom, I don't have a desire to be famous. I want to do what I love, and if that comes with it, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people that move to LA, they're like, I want to be famous. And I'm
Yeah.
like, for what? For
Mhm.
why? Why
Yeah.
do you want to be famous? What is it that you want to do?
Accomplish. Like, what is that? Yeah.
Because fame is very difficult.
yeah.
And not that I'm at that level where I can, relate to somebody who's crazy famous, but I've always done this because this is what I love to do. And if people want to support me in doing what I love, that's what I love.
Is it
Yeah.
constant ideas? Is it constant like song titles or possible show ideas? Or when auditions come in, you're going in your head about which direction to go? I mean, is that sort of
1,000%.
just kind of all of it?
1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, like I tell everybody, do not look in the notes of my phone
Mhm.
because that's where
Same.
my titles are. That's where my songs are. That's where I mean,
where your heart is. I mean,
yeah.
it really is it's your journal,
It's a very
basically.
vulnerable space.
Absolutely.
But I also think songs come to me at very random times. Like I'll be in the grocery store and you get a title and you're like, oh, I need to write that down or I will forget it. So it'll be random things. But I think I'm always thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I always want to go into a writer's room, like especially getting the opportunity to be with Smack and be able to write with people. I never want to go into the room with no ideas. I never want to be that artist. I want to be the artist where I'm in the room and I have something to say.
Would you say most of the songs, because I know a lot of your music, we side note, we work together in a capacity of that. I have a publishing company in Nashville, and Jenna is one of our writers, but also an artist that we work with in the music, in all facets of music. And we get to release her music and we get to work with her and learn from her on the social media front. And, we're trying to do everything we can. It really is. I mean, she is helping to educate our team on something that, her mother had an instinct about a decade ago, thank goodness. But, when it comes to the songs I've heard, they're always conceptually so unique, so, I want to say modern, but they're timeless. It's funny, there's just so many ideas and titles that you have that I would love for you to speak on. Are you a concept writer? Do you come in, is that usually you? Because they tend to have a trend.
I would say so. I love to pick a title and a concept. I think it spirals from acting though.
Like name some of the titles that,
Sure, like 6 Foot Nothing, FBI. It's
FBI resonates with me in my season of Housewives.
I can't wait to see what happens.
I can't say no more though because But okay, sorry, keep going.
FBI is like about girls stalking guys' Instagrams.
Oh,
isn't that great?
Great.
And then, this was one of her former singles, DiCaprio.
No, I love DiCaprio. It's such a good song. But that
kind of idea is so fresh. And
it is. It's not out there. And I think that's something that I always want to do as an artist and just as a creative is do something that's not out there. Because if you're trying to copy somebody else, you're never going to make it.
Well, you are in every lane that you're in, you're trying to be unique. And that's great. That's what creativity is, right?
My mom told me growing up is like, Jenna, if you're going to go try to sound like this person, you're never going to make it.
That's right.
Because there's already that person.
Be different.
You got to find a sound that's you. And if you got to find an art and whether or not people like it or they don't, you want them to hear you in Chili's or Target and be like, that's Jenna, whether they like it or not.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you,
that's so smart.
You are original. You scare the crap out of me. And speaking of having a special sound, would you do some of the Megan lines for us?
I'll be like, it's nice to meet you, Gina and Shane.
It's so creepy.
What?
It is. I'm getting the chills. It is so creepy, Jenna.
You've never done that for me.
That it just
like it's funny.
So
I've never.
Like I'm a little scared.
In the times we've been around each other, I don't know why I never asked her to do that, but I also didn't know it would sound so much like it. I assumed it was effective.
Me too. No. I really did. I really thought because nowadays too, it is kind of cool. It's so really cool that it's really just her voice.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Do it again.
Do you guys want to hang out?
Oh my God. I don't like it creeps me because now I'm thinking about her in the woods when she got that kid in the woods. I don't like that part. It freaking freaks me out.
What was it like when you saw it all put together? I know when she says
my name, I don't like it.
Yes. It's super fun for me. I was never a big horror fan prior to the film. I was always so geeked out. But now I know how everything works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah.
I love that. And
so, don't you have another movie coming up?
I do. It's called Stay at Home. But this time I get to play the victim versus the villain.
And it's scary.
Okay.
Yes. It's going to be very fun.
I'm a big time horror girl. So
it's going to be super duper fun because the whole thing is taking place on like Zoom and like Nest cameras.
How cool.
And it's a screen life film.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So it pretty much means like there's not one direct camera because basically the film takes place in kind of like a COVID time, but not really. It's like there's an app called Stay at Home that your parents
in the movie.
Your parents are like tracking you, but then there's like murders. Like, I don't want to give too much of it away.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Obviously, but the Screen Life film basically means that it's not like a regular camera like this. It's in the sense of like, I'm on FaceTime with a friend. I'm on Zoom.
Right.
They're looking at our
It's
Instagrams.
being
our
captured
Googles.
by,
It's incredibly
exterior
modern
cameras.
in the sense that I'm excited to see how it's going to be received.
It feels
because-
like when Blair Witch came out. Like,
That's
Oh my
exactly
God.
what it is.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
That was a huge inspo for the project.
Okay.
It was like,
That's interesting.
yeah, or also like the movie Missing with Storm Reed.
yes.
But instead of their film wasn't entirely Screen Life, but a majority of it was, but our entire film will be
wow.
Screen Life.
Yeah.
But it was pretty crazy because like you're doing scenes where you're supposed to be on FaceTime. Like it takes place with like me and my sister and her friend group. And just a lot of stuff goes wrong. I've never cried so much in a film in my entire life. Everything was like, I was so emotionally exhausted after that film because I had to bawl in so many of the scenes.
Yeah.
Because my character just goes
Through
through
it.
so much.
This is so exciting.
That's
Do you know when it's
exactly
coming?
how I feel
they're
after every
hoping
season
for
of Housewives, by the
October.
way.
I was just talking to the director the other day.
Sorry, she said
You
at the
get it.
same
It's-
time. She
it's
said,
true. I'm sorry, but it is.
What did it say it again?
It's just exactly how I feel after every season of
Yeah, you just
Housewives.
feel like you're just gonna
bawling,
fall to
emotionally
the ground.
drained. Just don't know what just happened.
But that
and
is,
it's
I mean-
too much. Yes, so I
Yeah.
feel
and you had to come from a real
A
place
horror
to
movie.
find that. And that
Yeah.
is exhausting.
Well, you really are so shaken up.
Mhm.
Because one of my scenes, I don't want to give too much of it away, but I'm stuck in a closet.
Oh,
The closet seems to be a theme because you did your Megan audition in the closet.
I know.
Now in the movie, you're
Yes.
stuck in
I
the
should
closet.
write my next single in a
you
closet.
really should. Yeah,
I could write it with you because I was in there.
Yeah.
I was in there for a long time.
I love. Yeah, you both have this. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, a lot of closet references. yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No.
well, I am
amazing.
so excited about this movie.
Oh my God, it's amazing. One thing that I have to bother you to
Yeah.
do, and I hope this is okay, but my kids are obsessed with you.
Aw.
And I promised them that you would, without asking first,
Yeah,
since that's
of
great to
course.
me, promises.
Let's do
that
it
you
on
don't have to
camera, and that
fail.
way she
Yeah,
can't
as
say
I'm
no.
like forcing her now.
No, of
If
course.
you would do a video for them and say hi to them in the Megan voice, because they'll die.
Yeah. And she has to say their names. So
Yes, and their
So-
names are Nick, Sienna, and Luca.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right,
And we're
here
going to
we
do
go.
it on the thing because it's,
We're gonna do it. And you look
Okay.
so pretty. Okay, put this foot down.
yeah,
All
there we
right.
go. There we go.
Hi, Nick, Sienna, and Luca.
Oh my God.
It's nice to meet you guys. We should hang out soon.
They are going to never sleep again.
Oh my God, thank you for doing that. You just said, like, now I'm mom of the year. You know, my
Aw.
stock just went way up. I mean, that's
It's
incredible.
easy, it's
I can't
fun.
believe how, honestly, the only other thing like I would love to talk about is the fact that you're only 20 years old. You seem so put together to me, so mature.
Thank you.
I know that I was reading a little bit about it, and like obviously your age and the time, and it happens to all of us, but specifically because you're young, I know that you've dealt with recently some of the cyberbullying issues.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Can you just speak a little bit about that? Like
Sure.
how you felt, because especially with such a large following, you get the good, but it comes with a lot of bad.
Absolutely. I would say the biggest amount of hate that I ever received was when I became like memes. I've become 2 memes in my entire life. One, it's called Penny Nickel Dime. The other one is like this Drake meme that they took from. There was like, do you remember the song like Kiki, do you love me?
Mhm.
That was like a big trend, and people would jump out of their cars.
Okay.
Well, at the time, my
Oh,
mom-
right. I remember in the window, and they
Yep,
would dance
exactly.
that dance. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I told my mom, I was like, hey, this song's trending. Why don't I sing it instead of do this dance trend? And so we went in the parking garage and we sang it. And people took that video and made this whole thing that Drake commented on the video, "You're in my feelings too." And then they had this thing where like claiming Drake's like a pedophile for commenting on my video. Drake never commented on my video, but the meme page edited
Oh.
it to look like they did.
Oh.
So everybody was coming to my account and looking through the comments to find Drake's comment. He never commented. Why would Drake comment on my video that? He wouldn't.
Mhm.
But people believed it.
Mm.
And so with that and the other meme that I was a part of, I gained 200,000 followers. But the engagement on my account was so bad
Mm.
that my mom was like, look, there's too much hate on here. You're not looking. So my mom forbid me to look at any of the comments because I was, I think, only 14 or 15 at this time. And so my mom's like, you don't need to see any of this. You don't need to be on your phone. You're not doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Go have fun. Do something else. I'll take care of this. So my mom at night would just make sure that, I mean, I was only 15. And so, like, some people are like, your mom was looking through your comments. I'm like, yeah, she was.
Heck yeah, she was.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are like, that's freaky. Like, your mom probably deleted my comment. I'm like, yeah, she did. Because if you're telling her daughter to go kill herself, she's not going to go just.
Right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
insane. Yes.
It's insane. But I give my mom all that credit because if I was 15 at that time by myself looking through all these comments, I don't think that would have been so incredibly detrimental. Like
to anyone at any age, but especially at formative years,
yeah.
and not understanding, you don't yet have that capacity to understand this isn't real.
And some people never do.
Yeah, they really don't. They really don't. I know it's sad and it hurts them because even the women that I work with, these comments hurt them, and it doesn't really bother me because I understand it's a toilet, but I get very scared for my kids coming up through this and how they're going to relate to it. Like, just because I'm so okay with it doesn't mean they will. So I'm always so curious about how young the youth like deals with it. I think the biggest thing is you just can't look, right? You can't live in that comment section.
Yes, but also at the same time, like as you get older, it's just it's hard to just be like, I can't look at my comments.
Right. Yeah. So then you just have to be okay
and so
with
that,
it.
I think it's all a mentality.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is I love when people hate on my content. Like, I actually really love it because you're actually only boosting my content. So you're only genuinely helping me.
Yes, you are.
You're helping me get more exposure. You're helping me pay my bills.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of things that you're helping me doing. And so
with your hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And
I'm going to cash my checks with your hate.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And haters are lovers in disguise. I always say that. I'm like, if you're going to take the time to comment on my video, thanks.
Where's that song?
Yeah, like
haters are lovers in disguise.
I made a song with my
write
hate
that
comments.
down in the notes.
You did?
I made a song with my hate comments. My friend Abby and I wrote it, and we posted it to YouTube for fun and on TikTok. And the lyrics are too funny. But I always think it's just like, at the end of the day, no one's ever gonna. There's not one person on this earth that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, if you can make someone feel something or make an impact, like that was always my biggest thing with my mom. Is my mom's like, when you sing, you're gonna look right into the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone would tell me, why are you staring into my soul? Like, that was one of the hate comments I'd always get, because in my cover videos, a lot of singers, they close their eyes, they look away. My mom's like, no, you look right into their eyes.
Yeah, because that's how you connect, even through a camera.
And music is everything. When words fail, music speaks. And literally, when you connect with somebody like that, it is, I think, a connection that people can't really explain. So when I would do my singing covers and I would look straight into their eyes, they are probably like, why is she doing this? And I'm like, this is purposeful because I want you to feel something.
When you're delivering a message that means something to you too, and that's like a good exchange that you would have.
1,000%. And I'm
it's also very brave just to be able to like stare into the camera.
I think you just have a gift of that. I mean, I think people that can be themselves looking into a camera, it's something that you can't teach that.
Yeah,
it's just part of who you are.
Thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just been something that's been instilled in me so young.
Yeah, you have self-confidence.
I do.
That's good. That's a good thing. Not a lot of kids have that now growing, because it's honestly, it's difficult to have self-confidence at all in this day and age.
It's
the fact
very
that you're so confident is a very good thing.
Yeah, I just think I am who I am, and at the end of the day, I know that when people comment on my stuff, it's like you respond to a hater and all they say is like, oh, my sister wrote that. And I'm like, well, because you never thought I was going to see it.
Right.
And I think that's why so many people do it, is because whether it's they want to give anger out, it's just they never think somebody's going to see it.
Well, they want to be seen. They want attention. They want to be seen.
But they don't think they're going to be seen.
Yeah, that's right.
So when they are, it's like, then they feel bad.
Yeah, like, right. Then they want to apologize, and then
Yeah.
and it's just attention seeking behavior and all of that.
It really is. And so that's why, like, I tell my friends who want to be in this industry or who are in this industry and struggle with that, I'm like, look, you want people to hate on your stuff because that means you're doing something right. Enough to pay attention to. I mean, not to act foolishly and do stupid things and be on the tabloids every 2 seconds, but at the point where if somebody's caring enough to give you more exposure, they're only just helping you.
Yeah.
Well, you got the movie coming. I know about new music that's coming.
And I'm so
and
excited.
So excited. And I mean, I could do this all day.
And a good head on your
there's so many
shoulders.
things that
Yeah.
we didn't even get to because you're so multifaceted. But
Too many things.
thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you
I
guys.
feel like
This is
people are
wonderful.
going to love this.
Yeah, it was so nice to get to know you, and I
Uh-huh.
wish you all the success in the world. You're obviously a shining star already, and just keep it up.
come
keep
back.
keep scaring the crap out of me.
I know, right. Thanks, Jenna.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jenna.